The Mississippi River is the second longest river and chief river of the second largest drainage system on the North American continent. It flows generally south for 2,320 miles to the Mississippi River Delta in the Gulf of Mexico. With its many tributaries, the Mississippi's watershed drains all or parts of 32 U.S. states and 2 Canadian provinces between the Rocky and Appalachian Mountains. The upper Mississippi runs from its headwaters to its confluence with the Missouri River at St. Louis, Missouri. The Missouri River is the longest river in North America. The Missouri flows east and south for 2,341 miles before entering the Mississippi River north of St. Louis, Missouri. Not far from the confluence of Mississippi and Missouri has a historic town called Alton. It is famous for its limestone bluffs along the river north of the city, for its role preceding and during the American Civil War. It was the site of the last Abraham Lincoln and Stephen Douglas debate in October 1858. Edward, Ted, and Pat Jones Park, where the Missouri River meets the Mississippi River. I thought it would be fun to get a bit of a walk and visit the confluence of the Missouri and Mississippi rivers. In 1721, French explorer Father Pierre-François de Charlevoix wrote the confluence of the Mississippi and Missouri rivers. I believe this is the finest confluence in the world. The 2 rivers are much the same breadth, each about half a league, but the Missouri is by far the most rapid and seems to enter the Mississippi like a conqueror, through which it carries the white waters to the opposite shore without mixing them. Afterwards, it gives its color to the Mississippi, which it never loses again, but carries quite down to the sea. Visitors can still witness the 2 rivers as they merge at this 1,118-acre park located on the north side of the Missouri River at its confluence with the Mississippi River north of St. Louis. The park was named for Pat and the late Edward Ted Jones for their contributions to the Missouri park system. The Jones were largely responsible for the development of the 225-mile-long Katy Trail, a Rails to Trails project that created a trail that runs alongside the Missouri River and crosses the state. There are very few places where you can go in this world that you can actually point out on any globe or map, so it's pretty neat. The confluence point is one of the area's best places for bird watching, as millions of birds migrate along the Mississippi River corridor each spring and fall. Common birds seen in the area include American bald eagles, great blue herons, geese, gulls, American white pelicans, and many kinds of songbirds. Standing at the point where two of the nation's mightiest rivers merge, Edward, Ted, and Pat Jones' Confluence Point State Park provides a unique perspective on America. Confluence Point is where Western expansion really began, and where the Lewis and Clark expedition set off on their journey up the Missouri.